Starting us out with a good cough there, bub.
Welcome to the COVID Crusade podcast, where we bring you the spiciest takes.
You gotta stop moving that boom, dude.
Dude, it's on a shock mount. I can move this fucker around. I can get comfy. I can come back. I'm be like, yo, hey, man. Hey, now I'm over here. Hey, man. Hey.
I don't want to see that much of your torso while we're recording. I'm sorry.
Oh, my goodness. I am going to get comfy back here, though. Well, anyway, like I said, this is the Quarantine Crusade podcast. I am EJ Olson. This is Nick Durheim. This is the first time we're recording in since January.
No, I think we got one in February.
I gotta look this up. I gotta fact check.
We might have even got one by the beginning of. No, we didn't get one in March. Who am I
Fuck
kidding?
no. January 14th.
That's honorary February. Okay, yeah, so I definitely have not recorded on this computer yet.
So a lot's happened since last we recorded. A lot. We're not gonna get into all of it. But one of the things is you built a new computer all by your freaking self. Your first build.
I put it together myself, like physically, but a lot of the process of choosing parts was through the help of you and others.
Welcome to building computers. The first thing anyone who builds computers does is go reads the forums of other people who have bought components.
Oh God, no! I didn't read any forum posts. I was just on PC Part Picker, and then I was like, "Hey, what do you think?" Because you're the kind of dweeb who actually like watches the YouTube reviews and crap. So
this is
true. I'm not that deep into it.
Well, I am your forum, and Andrew, the Windows Defender, Console Crusader, he is your forum.
Bless up, dude.
Well, obviously, we're in a state of
emergency.
Yeah, well, quite literally.
Literally.
Yeah, the world is in complete disarray. Shit's popping off in New York. We got this pandemic sweeping the nation. And I have been in my home, save for one excursion to the doctor and the grocery store last Tuesday. I have not left my house once in over 3 weeks now. Got laid off from my job. That's good. And I have been playing Animal Crossing like it's the last thing I'll ever do.
Thank God it came out when it did, huh?
Dude, it's literally perfect timing.
Could have come out like a week earlier, but, you know, pretty good timing.
I was hitting that hard on Twitter, bro. I was at Nintendo like crazy. You think they would have just dropped it? Reviewers had that fucking game for weeks. And there's petitions with tens of thousands of signatures. You think they would have just done it? Well, whatever. We got it. And we're happy with it. As far as other news, did we miss anything? Is there anything that we should talk about? I mean, this week there's some stuff we'll talk about. Last of Us, etc. Obviously, everything's canceled.
Yeah, the biggest stuff is just everything that's been canceled and delayed and all the uncertainty around games being developed and coverage of them from like E3 to GDC to Gamescom to whatever, you know, all these different big like live events, PAXs and all that crap, which like we don't go to, so it doesn't really matter. There's probably going to be, I think IGN said they're going to be doing something that's like E3 related as far as putting on like digital events and that kind of stuff, but I don't know what that all is going to entail until it actually happens. We're still going to get a bunch of summer like news. That's not like threatened or anything, but
sure. And Sony says that the PS5 will not be delayed, and whether that's, you'd think that maybe that they would go that route because of production issues or because of optics and marketing and the fact that, you know, 6.5 million people just lost their jobs. You know, who's going to be gearing up to drop $500 on a new video game console in, you know, 6 short months?
If you're lucky, $500.
Right. Well, fuck, right? We did miss the PS5 reveal that came out, and they said all this stuff about PS5, and I don't necessarily want to get into that.
That wasn't really like a whole much for like a reveal. It was just a bunch of tech specs, which you can just sort of speculate on. Like, yeah, that's a stronger thing than the PS4 currently is, and yeah, I bet games will be cool, but what are the games?
Right.
So,
and there's clear that there's like a big disparity between the new Xbox and the new PlayStation. Everyone made, I think, much ado about nothing over this SSD. Like, yay, you have an SSD. Congratulations. Like, welcome to 2010.
Well, hopefully games will be made to actually utilize that better.
Right.
Because as it stands, you sort of have to, you build a lot of games with the minimum specs in mind. So that's for computers too. Like a lot of PC games have to run on total crap laptops and stuff.
Someone dual booting freaking Windows on their 2015 MacBook Pro. Ain't nothing pro about it, dude.
Are you speaking from experience over there, bub?
Hey, listen, it's not like I was playing anything intensive. I was playing Magic Arena, okay?
Maybe some Civ, those butterfly switches.
Not even, dude. Not even. I finally just deleted my whole boot camp because I needed those precious gigabytes. And it still boots into Windows now, even though I properly deleted it through the boot camp app. It still boots into Windows, but then just blue screens. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm just stuck with like...
That's a super authentic experience.
I know, right? As if I didn't get enough of that on my home rig. Yeah, but anyway, outside of that, I don't think we really missed anything that we're going to bring up from the last couple of months. We're just going to kind of talk about what we've been playing, I think, which is mostly Animal Crossing, but there's some other stuff in there for me. And I'm sure there has been plenty for you over the last 3 months. So how do we want to do this? Do we want to just talk Animal Crossing for a while, or we want to talk about some of the other smaller games before we
Let's go ahead. Talk shop with Animal Crossing. I mean, that's the game that we've spent. I looked at your profile. I think you had like 190 hours in Animal Crossing. But I mean, looking behind you, I see it just sitting on the screen. So I'm sure like at least like 10% of that is just idle time.
That's true. Some of it probably is idle time. I'm usually pretty good about turning it off because
I'm looking right behind you, bub.
So this is a rare occasion because you texted me in the middle of a sesh and I just was like, okay, I'm going to drop it now. But normally I don't stop a session until I am done with a day. You know, I'm a filthy time traveler. So I don't stop a session until I am ready to stop. And I always close it so that it's a reminder if my game is closed, go skip my clock ahead before I boot it back up. So some of it's probably idle time.
Well, if that's the way you're playing, then you can just stop your day whenever you want. It doesn't really matter if you skip ahead. You're not missing anything.
I feel like there are a million things to say about this game. It is awesome. It is frustrating, and we're playing it two very different ways. And I'm interested in comparing and contrasting our experiences without being bitter towards each other over what the right / most fun way to play this game is.
Well, I just like to give you shit because you hold this time travel thing that you do as like this big cross, this burden that you bear that people are like martyring you for it. It's like
they are.
Nobody really gives a shit about what you're doing. It's just funny to get you mad because you're so salty about nobody else doing it the way you are.
Well, that's the thing is so many people are doing it the way I am.
I'm just saying in our personal friend group, like
right.
Everybody that I talk to, you and like maybe Jordan are the only people that I know that are like so obsessed with the min-max as to go that far and to play the game the way they want to play it, which is the way most people I know don't play it.
Sure. And I don't begrudge anybody for actually taking it day by day and filling their game hours with grinding the same butterfly for 8 straight hours so that they can make enough money to build a bridge, which they have to wait for. It's just, I'm doing all the things everyone else is doing almost the same way. It's just that at the end of my day, I don't say, well, I guess I'll come back to it in 12 hours. I just say, well, fuck it. I'm going to do it again. That being said, I did cheat. It is what it is. And this does change the game. I did do the duplication glitch the day before they patched it. And I duped the crown and I stocked up like 45 million bells. And I will say it does change what my days look like after that, because now I am no longer having to grind for cash and do all these things. That's sort of not a burden anymore. Now I'm just focused on building my town and accruing new items and trying to kick out villagers. But you're playing it day by day and you're playing by the book. It's working out for both of us, I think.
I just look at what you're doing and I'm a little bit mortified. It's just like the whole game is waiting. Like you're not playing the same game that I'm playing. It's just weird how vastly different we can approach the same material essentially. And if you ever need more bells, you could just time skip and use the interest. That's what I know people did on the first day, was they just time skipped like 20 years and then had all their interest and then brought it back with them.
Well, you could only accrue 99,000 bells at a time. So to get any meaningful amount of money, that would probably take you hours upon hours of skipping back and forth, which does not seem like a fun or efficient way to do that. But here's the thing. We are playing for the same reasons. Even your whole goal is to build your town a certain way. You have a total vision, which you should definitely talk about because it's sick. But everything you do is to further that goal. I'm just doing it at my own pace. And if someone wants to just do it day by day, that's chill. That's fine. You know, my ambition is very short shelf life. So I know that if I really took it day by day, in 2 weeks, I'm not going to give a shit about this game anymore. But if I'm able to take it at my own pace and reach my goals on my own timeline, you know, I'll be able to squeeze as much value out of this game as possible before I inevitably drop it. And
You're going to play for 2 weeks either way, but this way you're actually going to get something done.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I'll come back for the events, you know, Christmas and what have you.
This reminds me of, it's kind of like, I mean, I've only spent like a very small amount of time in Minecraft, but what I did play it was like 2 different modes when I was playing it. There was like a survival game where you're actually like foraging for different materials and trying to like build shelter and like that kind of stuff. And then there's a creative mode where you could just literally fly and you had infinite supply of everything. And people just used it to make pixel art in Minecraft, which is like cool. But like at that point, why aren't you just using MS Paint? Because it looks the same when you zoom out far enough. So who cares? And that's sort of my, I guess, experience with what you're doing. And like, I did a little bit of time travel, I think, with New Leaf because I was just trying to catch up and I was already 3 years after the fact. So it didn't really matter. Like, it was just you and me hanging out at your cousin's place. But like, now that everyone's playing at the same time, it's more of like a live game. It's more like playing World of Warcraft with your buddies. It's like a golf game. You're just hanging out, doing menial tasks, hanging out while this whole quarantine's got us all bunkered in. And I don't know, like I like the idea of making my town the way I want it to be, but I'm not like in a rush. Like I don't need it to happen in the next 2 weeks. I can see it happening over the next year. And that would be like super cool because I'd be able to see it like grow and progress. And like even like the Nook Miles thing where they force you to take a screenshot, like that's really cool because I've already like gone through my album and like checked out screenshots. I'm like, oh yeah, that's where I was on day 3 and like how things have changed between day 3, day 4, day 5. So it's kind of, I don't know. I like the daily aspect of it. I like the slow burn.
Sure. And if you know you're going to actually play it for that long and keep it up daily or every other day or whatever, like totally cool. We're still doing the exact same stuff every day. I got terraforming 3 days before you, but other than that, we're doing the same shit every day. I'm still doing the events. I was catching freaking petals like everybody else. I did the bunny day for 1 day before skipping ahead a whole month.
Yeah, I just finished doing all my bunny day crafting.
Oh, it's too much for me to want to care.
But it's got a nice little check mark next to those recipes. Are you kidding me?
Oh, oof. Yeah, that is not a system that I have paid any attention to outside of having to craft new tools. I'm kind of saving, you know, I'm hoarding resources right now as you put it last night, raise my village to the ground.
It's a ghost town. It's terrifying. You don't have any life except for like the villagers that you all hate.
I hate them all, almost all of them. I changed that today. I did a lot of work today. I've got trees everywhere now. I've got my hybrids going. My next big endeavor, Nick, is I want an entire pasture of flowers, and I want to color coat the rainbow all the way from black all the way to, you know.
I see you too saw that video on Reddit.
Hell yeah. I have mine a little bit different. I got to go and figure out how many flowers and how many variants there are and which ones I want, and I'm going to do rows between them so it's more like, you know.
You might not have enough space.
I might not have enough space. So we'll see. I got some research to do, but I started plotting.
There's a lot of flowers, but I mean, depending on the usable land and like if you did it on the back, because you have to have your river mouths. If you did it on the back row, you probably could fit it horizontally.
I am going horizontally.
Just because it's 7 squares horizontal versus 6 squares vertical.
Yeah, I don't know. I might not do all the flowers. I might just kind of pick my favorite ones and use the space.
And some of them are kind of hard to get. Like you have to breed special variants and then breed those together to make certain flower types. It's really annoying.
Yeah, it's there's no rhyme or reason to it. I did everything I thought correctly to get black roses, but instead I'm just getting a bunch of pink. I'll get like 12 pink roses and like 1 black rose. I'm like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, because what double reds can make either pink or black.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's because you're playing a different game than what the people who made the game are intended for it to happen. Like for them, it's like, oh, maybe your flowers will make a cool variant and it's like a special thing if it happens, and everyone else is like, I have to force this. I'm gonna, breed these flowers together, just forcibly like making the flowers fuck. It's weird. It's just funny how when you make something and then put it out to a broad audience that people will take it, interpret it their own certain ways.
Well, that's how a lot of the inspiration for my town has come about, is I've been watching other people who've done some really amazing things.
I swear to God, if I see any hearts in your paths,
I will not be doing the hearts. No, that is not something that caught my eye. I just spent way too much time between last night and this morning building a clifftop deal for my house, and I'm really not satisfied with it, but I put so much work into it, and I'm like, what would I do differently? Am I really going to tear it down? So we'll see what comes of that. But I want to talk about some of the quality of life improvements in this game compared to New Leaf, and then I also want to talk about like where they kind of missed the mark. Because like I said, there's a lot of really great things about this game, and there are a lot of things that I think the developers either forced or leaned kind of blindly into. And it, even if you're not time traveling like me, I think it still changes the game in some significant ways. But what are some quality of life things that have really stuck out to you compared to your last experience with Animal Crossing?
Do you remember what the max pocket size was in a New Leaf? Was it 40 or was it 30?
Oh God, it was maybe 20. I think you had 2 rows of 10, and then you had to stick things onto letters because you had a separate pocket for letters. And so that you could kind of jank it by doing that, but it was not very efficient. And like fruit didn't stack. Like one of the big things they've done now is shit stacks.
Yeah, a lot of things stack. I mean, it's still like inconvenient when certain things don't stack, and like obviously with just the whole crafting thing, that adds a bunch of like cool things. Like I like being able to make furniture and being like, I can just make a bunch of this one furniture if I like it and make my room symmetrical and that kind of thing. But that introduces new problems where you're like, well, I have to get the recipes somehow, but you're getting recipes at the same speed as you'd get furniture before. So I think the crafting in general is an improvement just for the sake of getting furniture and getting like just things to decorate your town with. I guess it'd be nice if you could like craft clothing, but like you get a shit ton of clothing because you have a shop dedicated to it, and Timmy and Tommy sell some stuff too, and you find it in the balloons. It's really nice being able to pick up trees, like full trees. You don't have to chop it down and like plant a new one. The terraforming seems like a huge game changer. I haven't messed around with it yet. I just unlocked it this morning. I haven't been able to set aside any time to start working on that. I kind of wanted to have a game plan before I just started wildly hacking away at stuff.
Right.
Like I don't need to, if I don't need to delete something, I'm not going to delete it, So other than that, those are like the main things that are kind of like sticking out to me just like off the get-go. Like I said, I didn't really get to experience New Leaf the way I would have wanted to. I would have liked it a lot more if I was playing it like in the moment and like had a bunch of people playing it at the same time as me. That's like my favorite thing about this game right now is that like all of my friends are playing it. At any time we'll turn on my Switch and the number 8 will be in the top left of my screen. It's 8 people that are online and they're all fucking playing Animal Crossing. It's insane.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, people I would have never expected to have even own a Switch or play any sort of game. I mean, literally everybody is playing this game. It's crazy. And it's cool because like every morning I wake up to a gift from somebody, And like this morning, a friend of mine who currently lives in Germany, she's playing at a completely different time zone than me, right? So like I'll wake up to
You're
something.
playing it at a different time zone.
Well, I'm playing it every time zone at all times. She sent me the drum set that I've been looking for. So I am currently in May, and I've skipped every day through May. And before that, I had gone to June and then back to March. So I've played a lot of days, and I have not found a drum set, which is extremely frustrating. And so she sent me one. I was super freaking stoked. We're in the group chat talking shit and giving each other crap. And hey, do you have this item? And hey, how do you do this? And yeah, it's been a really cool experience. And I hope that we don't lose steam in the next week or two, and we can kind of see this through.
I mean, we'll lose steam eventually, but the cool thing about a game like this and something I do appreciate is them adding like live events. Like even though the Bunny Day stuff, like none of it is appealing to me, it's cool that there is an event going on right now. And like the Cherry Blossom stuff is really cool. I really like the design of all those items, and it just makes me excited for what the future is going to hold. And like seeing a fireworks show on 4th of July will be cool,
Totally.
New Year's, Halloween, like it's going to be all those holidays are gonna be fucking awesome.
Dude, I just can't wait for Christmas and just deck my house out, dude.
Building snowmen, do you remember that in the direct? Like
Yeah.
you're just rolling up snowballs.
Oh,
Dude,
man.
that's so tight.
I do wish I want to push online talk for down the road here, but I wish the online play was a little bit better. But as far as quality of life stuff, the inventory, like I just think about all the things that I'm doing on any given day in any given moment, thinking about how difficult or impossible it would be in New Leaf. You know, even just the fact that like your shit stacks the way it does, and I'm not taking up all my inventory space on you know, shaking 3 trees. You have a maximum of 40 slots now, and you have between 4 and maybe 8 slots taken with tools at any given time. But just the fruit stacking and the different resources stacking. Last night we were talking about turnips. Now turnips stack in bundles of 100, and you can eat 10 of them at a time. And of course, eating fruit now or food will enable you to like either break rocks or lift full trees out. And I'm like, instead of eating 1 fruit at a time, oh, these stack in bundles of 100, so I'm not filling my inventory. I can eat 10 at a time. Look how efficient that is. So the inventory space, it's like so nice not to be butting my head up against that wall. And there are things like that in this game that I'm butting my head against that you just think like, oh man, this would have been so easy to fix. It's like the weapon durability in Zelda. And again, we totally feel differently about that. But it's one of those things that I thought got in the way of all the other good things about that game. There are things like that here where it's just like, you guys are so close. So close. Just being able to like have total granular control over like where all the villagers move. Like I don't ever wake up to a fucking villager having demolished half of my perfectly arranged trees, because they decided to fucking move in and I have no control over that. It's so nice now that you can move anything you want. You can move any building you want. You know how many times I've moved my house?
Can't move the town hall. Can't move the airport.
Well, and I knew that going in.
So obviously, like every time they give you something, it makes you just want more and more. So it is a bummer that they don't like completely 180 on it, but it's just Nintendo loosening their grasp on our balls.
I think crafting is really fucking cool. The idea that I'm gathering more resources. It's not just, hey, here are bugs and here's some fruit, but that there are other resources that have other purposes. And the level of customization is cool. Like at a certain point in New Leaf, which was like the most expansive Animal Crossing game to, until this game, at a certain point in the end game, quote unquote end game, everyone's towns kind of look the same. Like for them, like you kind of have all the same items and all the cool items. Everyone wants the special items, the Nintendo items, and the this and the that. And everyone's town kind of just ended up the same. Dude, the stuff I'm seeing on the Animal Crossing sub or just like my recommendations on YouTube now, people are doing the most insane shit. Like when I went into your house last night, I was like, I haven't seen any of this stuff before. It was crazy. It was awesome. And the level of detail and the, just the range of shit. You have a room full of trash. Why do they have a trash wallpaper? It's literally like a fucking cityscape, like a city dump. And I'm like, that's so stupid, but so fucking funny.
I could make you one if you want it. I could make you that wallpaper. Now, the wallpaper you can make, it has to be the 32 by 32 tile, which is a bit limiting. Like it'd be cool if you could be like these 4 and then tile them this way. That'd be nice. But
that's another thing that's super, super awesome is, how's that for a descriptor? Super awesome. Is the customization.
Yeah, and they unlock it like just from the get-go. Like you could start the game up tomorrow and be able to do that right away. Once you get the phone, you can start making your own clothes and stuff. I wish you could turn off the pixel smoothing. I think that's a little bit obnoxious, but it's like a weird limitation that's like forced on you.
Yeah.
For like no real reason. Like there's no like good reason for it.
So there are 2 ways to design things in this game. The first way is you got a little MS Paint window, right? Each pixel is laid out and you have all these tools, different line width and fill, and you can kind of do some dinky designs. And you design these tiles, and then you can lay those down as paths, or you can put them on clothes, or you can hang them up as paintings on the wall. But then there's this website. The game lets you scan QR codes with the Nintendo Switch app on your phone. So you can go online, upload a photo, right? generate a QR code, and scan it into your game. We've seen some crazy stuff on the internet, but like I have a freaking full mural of like a Calvin and Hobbes painting in my bedroom. You know, I've got all my favorite band's records down in my music room.
My main problem with that site in general is that the algorithms they use to like resize stuff is just awful.
It's pretty bad.
And like if you try to upload a pixel perfect image, it'll still resize it.
It could definitely be improved,
which is absurd. Like I don't know why it would do that. Like I'm trying to like I just want this 32 by 32 image from Photoshop that I made and I know is the right palette and I can't get it in the game. I have to just do it myself, which I end up doing, and it's fine. It's whatever.
Some of the stuff that people have actually designed in Animal Crossing with their editor is pretty crazy. I was looking for basketball court designs, and I found one that you could tell was like some guy with zero artistic ability, like hard edges, like, you know, just horrible. This other guy who like clearly knew what he was doing when he was designing sprite art. It looked like it was part of the game. It was flawless. Just the way that everything was. I mean, the rounded edges were flawless, and the way that the feather on the lines so that it weren't totally harsh, right? It was amazing. So that's a fun thing. And, you know, the weird smoothing, like, it's kind of janky, but it also feels like it fits in the world. You know, you have, like, this weird kind of 16-bit that's kind of looks like it's a watercolor painting. Like, it works, you know?
16-bit in the way that Square Enix re-releases their SNES games on PC with the forced pixel smoothing.
Right.
Yeah, dude. Love it.
I mean, again, could be improved.
Just give me a toggle. Let me turn it off.
Right.
I'm saving you CPU and GPU power.
You should be thanking me.
You should be thanking me.
Dude, the crafting is cool just because you have a level of customization and it's giving more meaning to the sort of menial things you're doing throughout the day. It's like, oh God, I gotta go shake another tree. I gotta chop something down. But there's a lot of value in that now. I would say too much value at times, and that this game has almost completely changed everything about what it has done in the past and is just almost solely focused on crafting. Everything from like your tools constantly breaking to like Nook Shopping sells like 5 items at a time. He used to have a fucking catalog where you could buy like hundreds of items, which is cool because you get like, oh, I really want this design scheme in my house. I got to save up for it. It costs so much money. And now it's like he sells you the same 2 shirts and some chintzy item. And there's no reliable way to get recipes. It's not like I can go and buy these recipes every day. It updates and I can buy new recipes on a shopping app or at, you know, in Timmy and Tommy's place, they sell 3 special items and 2 whatever items that you can, you know, buy as many as you want of. It just, I feel like it's not enough control over what you're getting and how you're getting it. And so that's a little frustrating where it just feels like everything I do is to craft, but it's really sporadic how it throws things at you. Like the only way to get new crafting recipes is random villagers give you something, or you like find them on the beach.
Or you'll get them from balloons too.
Random floating why are there random gifts floating in balloons over my island every day?
I don't know. Why were they doing that in the old games?
Exactly. It's weird. And the fact that that's the only way to like get new recipes is a little silly to me. And I see stuff that people have. I'm like, oh, dude, I want that. Like, I can't share recipes with you.
You can, but it has to be like it's an item before you learn it. So you can give people the recipe if you don't want it.
Yeah, but
so you can, but you can't like reverse engineer. You can't be like, oh, I know this thing I want to teach to my friend. I can craft the recipe for this item I can craft.
Right.
I could see them adding that where they'll sell like recipe cards and then you'll like be able to share recipes on a 1-by-1 basis.
That would be really
cool. I can see them
cool.
adding that to the Nook Shopping.
Yeah. And that's something that I hope comes sooner than later. Just because I feel like, especially now that I've gotten to a point where my town is mostly arranged, and now I'm trying to find, you know, things that really fit each villager and each home style, and trying to theme all my rooms. And I don't even know what's out there. Like I said, in the old game, you had a catalog where you could go through and you basically saw all of the items you could get. You could, or at least see some from each collection, so you knew like the themes, and then you would unlock more furniture and you could buy more. Like, I don't even know what's in this game. And some people might say, oh, that's part of the fun of like not knowing.
Just look up a wiki, dude.
Well, even the wiki doesn't have pictures of half this shit. It's so new. I've done that, and it's just like, oh, we know it's here because we data mined it, but we don't know what it looks like yet. There are no pictures until people find and start uploading things.
That's weird. I guess the data miners I've seen, they've only ever shown pictures. Like I saw someone data mined all the mystery islands and like the chances of them spawning and that kind of stuff.
I'll have to hop back on and look because I was trying to do just that.
I haven't looked too much into it because like you said, that's part of the game, baby. Not knowing.
Yeah. Not for me. I need to have more control. This is like the only part of my life I have any control in.
And you don't even really have that much control.
Exactly. Like I lost my job. I'm about to go broke. I can't even go to the grocery store because I'm going to die apparently by catching some terrible disease if I go out there unprotected. This is all I have right now. This is all I can do. I can podcast and I can play Animal Crossing. So plan it my way. And I'm trying to, I think what my friend said, she was nesting super hard with this game. And that's part of the sort of therapeutic nature of this game. And everyone gleans something different from it. So, but the durability, Nick, try to convince me that the durability is okay. That whole system.
I mean,
it's bad.
It's fine.
Oh, God.
I don't really. I'm not like butting up against it that much, I guess. Like I understand for you, you're trying to play as fast as possible, but for me, it's interesting sort of addition in that I like the tension that it builds. That you're like, okay, this entire game is all about spinning plates and managing the economy of items and being like, okay, to do this thing, I have to do this thing. But as I'm on my way to do that thing, I see this thing and I'm going to do that thing. And then I see this thing. And it's just like this ADHD sort of smorgasbord of things you can do where I'm like, I'm going to chop some wood because I need more soft wood to make another watering can because my watering can just broke. So on my way to get some softwood, I see a butterfly that I want to catch because it's worth a good amount of bells. So I'm going to catch that. But then I hear the whooshing sound of a balloon flying overhead. You know, there's a million things coming at you at all angles. And there's always something to do. And I appreciate that there's always something to do and that you want to be doing something to do the thing that you want to do. So the crafting isn't that much of a big deal, especially since you said there are 40 pocket spaces. So you have plenty of space to carry along with you a little crafting table and like 3 stacks of wood and like a stone to make another axe because your axe is going to break because you want to make another shovel and your shovel breaks, you know. So I'm fine with it because as you build, like you have enough iron to like make the best version of every item. As long as you're not on day 3 and you're trying to get your shop upgraded, you're going to have enough of every resource. So use it. The only bummer to me is that you can't craft more than one item at a time. So like if you have, 20 manila clams, you can't just make a stack of fish bait, which is super annoying. And the animation takes way too long. Like they could shorten that. And I hope they do because it's way too long. But besides that, like the whole like using resources to make resources that you're actually using, like the tools, I'm not too chuffed about it, but I would like it if it was faster.
I'm a lot less upset about it now that I haven't really needed. Like I broke a watering can today, but like I'm not really digging up enough to, be breaking shovels 4 times a day. I'm not chopping trees down.
Yeah, you're probably running into that a lot because of how much you were terraforming and like tearing stuff apart, but like that's a long process in and of itself. Like
yeah.
The addition of a small like speed bump of rebuilding a shovel or an axe is like enough to be annoying, but like on a day-to-day basis, like just the daily play, it's not that much of a big deal. Like I probably go through 2 watering cans a day watering all my flowers because I've got a lot of flowers.
You have
but like
so
that
many.
makes it feel like I've got a lot of flowers because I'm breaking this watering can from how much I'm watering them.
God, you have so many flowers. It's ridiculous. Well, watering flowers is my least favorite thing to do in this game, even with the improved watering can.
I wish that they would add a 3rd tier of watering can like they had in New Leaf where it watered 9 squares as opposed to just 6. But, it's fine.
I wonder if you get sprinklers in this game. Or like in the last game, this is something that they don't have here. There are two big absences for me in this game. One of them...
Gyroids, where are they?
I know
they help build things, but I want to dig them up.
Let me tell you how happy I am
little dancing effigies.
This is why I'm so triggered by Bunny Day. Most other or times of the year or time, whatever, when I see an X on the ground, I don't need to worry about it being a fucking pitfall seed. I don't need to worry about it being a fucking gyroid. I know that's a fossil. That was the worst fucking thing, is digging up some useless trash, and after it rains, you got 12 gyroids floating around your fucking island. Horrible. I'm so glad they're gone. I don't give a shit. People
I love gyroids. They're so cute.
They're horrible nightmare creatures. Lloyd is still there. When you build something, he's still ready to take your fucking bells.
Yeah, that's fine. He's a menu box that you deposit bells into. He's as useful as the ABD.
I really miss being able to build other buildings, and you have like town works projects in the last game. I feel like some of that stuff is missing. Some of those things are just items now. Like, you don't have to do a public works part,
which is kind of nice,
to build a fucking fountain. You can just craft a fountain, which is cool.
Yeah, I like that. You don't have to wait a day for that.
Yeah, that's a nice improvement. So stuff like that, but the town ordinances, where like if you wanted more money, there's a town ordinance that would maximize your money. If there was one that would just keep your flowers watered, my God, can you imagine
one that?
Like
made shopping cheaper too, right?
Right. So stuff like that is notably absent. They might start adding stuff. I will tell you, if they start adding big buildings and stuff down the road, that's going to piss me off, because like I said, I wish I had taken more before and after pictures so you could see what my island has transformed into, with how I laid my neighborhood out and how I arranged my buildings and my rivers and all these things. If they start adding buildings, it's going to piss me the fuck off, because I'm using every inch of my island. And if I got to accommodate 2 new buildings, what am I going to do?
Well, I mean, what would they add that would be useful enough that you would actually want to add it without just like ignoring it?
Part of me would say I just want everything. So I would do whatever they add, I will add to my game.
But I mean, you've got stuff that you could easily like get rid of. Like you could axe that orchard. You don't need an orchard.
Oh, it's so pretty though. Now that's where my campground's at now, and that's where my flower freaking array is going to be. It's just that northwestern part of the island is just nature. And then you get to the museum and it's developed. You get to my cliff top and it's developed. And then, of course, the whole neighborhood down below. Thematically, not that I'm going for, I'm not making a Japanese town. I'm not going that crazy thematically. But, I'm trying to keep things in the vibe of it's the island, but there's a neighborhood. And it's, I'm trying to keep it all compartmentalized and feeling good. I got the COVID over here of coughing.
Got the Rona.
I got a sore throat for a couple days. The one day we were gonna record, I was like fevery. It was the day before my doctor appointment. I was like achy and gross and nauseous. And I was like, oh no, like I got it, dude. It's happening. But then I felt fine the next day.
Yeah, it doesn't help that all this is going on where it's like literally flu season and allergy season is starting up. So everyone's like super on edge.
Right. And I'm already dealing with some other medical stuff. So like I'm hypochondriac. So I'm always super aware of what my body is feeling, much to my detriment most of the time. And so I'm just like especially on edge, being like, oh man, like I had to go to this doctor appointment, which was frustrating because they're like, you have to come in and get this address. And then I go and they get me checked out, which was a mortifying experience. And then they're like, yeah, well, we're not doing elective surgeries right now. And your condition is at the point where we feel like we need to address it right away. So they told me what to watch out for. I'm like, oh, so if I just wake up horrifically sick next week, now it's time to come back and address it.
Yeah, that's what happens in emergency scenarios. If you're not high on the priority list, then you're gonna be sent home.
Yeah. Well, it scares me because if I do end up fucked up, then I have to go to the hospital and get this procedure and get taken care of. But then I'll be like,
and maybe get the Wu flu.
Well, that's the thing, is I'll be so immunocompromised that it's like if I would have just gotten taken care of, got my immune system in order, and then got the bug because I was at the hospital, that's one thing. But going in like really sick because of this other thing, which they say is not likely, but I read the internet, Nick, and I think everything is the worst case scenario. So
you min-max in all sorts of scenarios in your life.
Yeah, all I have is Animal Crossing, Nick. That's all I have. Okay, you're still working.
Well, as you know, I'm essential. All right,
essential as they come.
Yeah, I'll have to send you the letter that we got to print out and put in our car. It said, like, just in case you ever get pulled over, you can show this to law enforcement and let them know that you're an essential worker.
Oh God. Okay. So I'm curious.
It's hilarious.
Like, did you have an option to be like, hey, if you're not comfortable?
That was not expressly. That was not relayed to us. No.
Okay, interesting. Well, now that they have official shut-in orders. I got laid off before the shut-in orders, which is a little frustrating because basically what happened, I don't want to break an NDA on the podcast. I was not going to lose my job if I was willing to meet certain conditions. And it wasn't like an ultimatum like, hey, we're going to fucking fire you if you don't do these things. But
Right.
the option was there to keep my job if I can meet certain conditions. Well, given my health woes and whatever, I basically just was like, hey, I'm willing to meet you guys. I will work from home. Because that was the government recommendation, was that any non-essential business move to a work from home strategy. So I took that and said, hey, based on these recommendations, based on my situation, I will work from home. But because that didn't meet the conditions that they wanted, they laid me off. So, which is fine, whatever. It's supposedly temporary. I am walking like between 6,000 and 10,000 steps a day now. I go for a long ass, like 2 mile plus walk every day. I'm cooking, pretty decent. Pretty decent so far. We'll see. I've already blown through half my savings just basically paying rent 1 month and buying groceries twice. So we'll see what happens.
Sounds like you had a hell of a savings.
Well, I had what I thought was a decent enough savings, and I thought I was going to be able to, I was like, oh, I could leave my job if I wanted and like do my own thing now and have a cushion. But I took half of the initial savings and invested it in a bunch of gear, which I needed to do if I wanted to do my own thing. But the timing of it was horrible considering the following week we got ordered to stay home and I can't do anything with it. So,
well, I'm glad you had any savings to deal with sort of emergency funding. Like I know it's not a lot of people have that. So I'm glad that you have a little bit of security in that sense.
right. Yeah. We're at a point where like I'll probably be able to float rent for like another 2 months. And realistically, we're probably looking at this going until the summer.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to fucking think that I'm going to be stuck in my house for that long. Fucking crazy. But anyway, we'll see if we are stuck that long. Will I still be playing Animal Crossing for 10 hours a day in June?
Maybe 6 hours a day. I think you'll be down to 6 at that point.
Yeah. Well, what's going to happen, Nick, is I'm going to get my town basically where I want it. And then I'm going to start a time-locked account on my Switch Lite and do that whole thing. So
Play it the real way.
yeah.
See if you can catch back up with us.
You're still working. You're essential to the operation of the world. So not much has really changed, I'm assuming, on your end. I mean, you're still kind of keeping your normal schedule. So you're having to find time for these games amidst your normal schedule, which means you're probably sleeping less than normal.
I had like a weird week of sleep this last week, but as far as like finding time to play Animal Crossing, I took a 4-day weekend the week it came out.
Nice.
I took a 3-day weekend this week. It's been like it's not like hard or like super stressful at work, but it's just sort of like there's that looming sort of energy.
Yeah.
Like everyone's like either trying to like play it off as if it's like a joke, or people aren't taking it seriously enough or taking it too seriously, or like, everyone's sort of stressed out about it, obviously. And like, I can't even check my email at work because they took away all the keyboards. And
God.
Certain people have keyboards like in their locker in plastic bags so that they can log into their computer. But like, I didn't get one. I don't know where fucking my keyboard is.
Oh God.
So I'm just like, okay, well, that's great. And like we've got like cleaning policies in place now. So like every time you get on a forklift, you have to wipe it down, and you're on that one forklift the entire night, and then you clean it when you get off and all this kind of stuff. We got like bleach water and all this kind of
That's good.
crap to help sort of. I don't know if that actually works. I don't know how helpful any of this is, but
It does help, because if you touch a surface that has a virus on it and touch your face, you're gonna get sick. So in an isolated situation like that, yeah, bleach water is definitely killing whatever is on that. Provided you're letting it rest and cleaning it with water afterward. But the thing that is getting people sick is it's not touching your face. It's not touching surfaces. That's the part that the CDC guidelines, initially, people are all like, oh, you just wash your hands, you'll be fine. If you're anywhere near a person, like they say 6 feet.
yeah, because they're breathing stuff out.
And
And that stuff is the sick stuff. And if you breathe that stuff in, you're sick.
right. And to typical flu is
Science.
not that transmissible. But like, dude, I wouldn't want to be 10 feet away in a closed space from someone who is sick. Like, you know what I mean? Like the rate at which it's transferring between people is insane. And, when I'm on my walks and someone comes up on the sidewalk opposite of me, I'll try to cross the street. But I don't even want to walk in the path of someone who's ridden their bike by, because I'm like, oh God, their particles are in the air. And maybe that's crazy, but I don't think you can take anything too seriously given what we're learning about this whole thing. But
I think it's less likely if you're just outside, because the air moves a lot outside and there's a lot of air outside.
that's true. That
I
is
think
true.
it's more about just sharing a space with someone where you're confining the amount of recycled air and everything.
Sure. Yeah, well, it's a scary thing, and I'm bummed that I was all looking forward to. I was going to be in the studio the week Animal Crossing came out. I was going to be up in town, making music all week, and I was going to come over to your place and kick it for the launch and all this stuff. And obviously, listen, things could be worse. I've got a backyard and a cozy little place, and I know a lot of other people have a lot
cute
worse.
little kitty cat.
Yeah, hanging out with my waffle. I think she's loving having us home all day, every day. She gets treats when she wants. She gets a belly to lay on any time of the day.
Spoiling her.
Yeah. So, well, hopefully things get better sooner than later. But
One can only hope.
yeah, for now, I want to talk about one of the other games I've been playing. But do you have anything else you want to chat about regarding Animal Crossing? Not that was a comprehensive, overview of the game, but we're enjoying the shit out of it.
We're in the thick of it,
Yeah.
balls deep, as it were. I'm about to start terraforming. I got a plot out in it. I was thinking about breaking out some graph paper.
Damn.
A little bit easier to draw it out than like using there's like an online tool where you can play around with, and it's pretty comprehensive, but I don't want it. I want to get physical with it. I want some hands on. I want to mold this bitch.
It's also really difficult to translate to the game based on that grid. I almost feel like the grid is useless because you can't really line things up accurately in the overworld.
I love a good grid. I can line it up. I got that kind of grid brain,
All right, listen.
You saw my town. You saw my little neighborhoods I got started going on. They got that very uniform space between them, so I can plant a tree and put like some fencing and some flowers.
Getting the neighborhood up and running.
I'm gonna have 2 neighborhoods when all is said and done. Just so you know.
See, that's nice. That's nice. And
because if I'm doing Koholint Island, I gotta have Mabe Village and I have to have the Animal Village. So I'm gonna have 2 towns. I have a little foursome down in the southeast, and then have the main maybe 6 or so in the middle, the Midwest. And then I don't know where I'm gonna put my house. I'm probably gonna just like find a nice little cozy place.
break the map down. You're doing Koholint Island from Link to the Past. Sorry, Link's Awakening.
Nope. Links. Yep, that one.
Someone did do Link to the Past map, and that was very cool. A lot of fucking work, man. A lot of work. I hope you see it through. I think you're gonna butt your head up against the terraforming.
I'm ready.
But
I'm built for this, dude.
Dude, see, I wish you were streaming this. I've been watching Animal Crossing streamers, and there's so much just in the minutia and hearing people's thoughts and opinions, and I think it's fascinating to watch people play this game.
I'm way too ADHD to even like consider wanting to stream it. Like, I get so distracted so quickly, and like I'm like looking at my phone. I'm doing everything but play the game while I'm playing the game, except for when I'm playing the game, and then I'm doing all the things that I told myself I wasn't gonna do, like shoot down the 100th balloon. It gives me another sky egg, and I just don't give a shit. But I'm doing it because I hear that noise, and I gotta stop the noise.
Dang, you're crazy, man.
Yeah. You hate to see it.
I'm finally trying to break that habit with like weeds. Like I'm time traveling. Like I traveled like 10 days this morning just to get all my bridges and inclines built on my new homestead, and which stresses me out. I think I got to tear it down, Nick. But every time I saw a weed, I was like, I got to pick that weed. I was no, I'm traveling like 5 more days straight here. I don't need to pick up that weed. I can get the weeds when all is said and done. I don't need to stop and get in the weeds with the weeds. Like
gotta stop and smell the roses,
man.
Right?
The only flowers I have in my town right now is roses. I'm going to have to come and get flowers from you, Nick, because now I got to freaking breed flowers. Feel like
Let me
a
know
real
if you ever find any Cosmos. I have not seen a single Cosmo.
I don't know what a Cosmo
and it
is.
bums me out. It looks kind of like the windflower, but a little bit different.
With like the outline on the inside of the flower. Like it'll be like purple with like a little outline in it or something. I gotta look this up now. Am I crazy? New Horizons Cosmos.
Yeah, Cosmos, they're like yellow in the center, and then they've got like 4 petals, I think, or like 6, like big petals.
Oh, that
they
is
look kind of like
not-
windflowers, or like pansies have like more squiggly kind of petals, but like Cosmos are just like straight up rectangular kind of petals that are like
yeah,
hook
yeah.
towards you. It's sort of like a bowl shape. And I haven't seen a single Cosmo. And I've been to like several people's islands. I've checked their shops to see if I could buy buy seeds, but because that's the way I prefer to get flowers. I like buying the seeds so I can be like, I'm just gonna start with 5, do like 5 rows of 3, and then just do like each color, and then try and like start breeding from there. Like I've got my roses that I got from you, so I've got like some reds, some yellows, some whites. I'm trying to breed the reds and whites for pinks, the reds and yellows for oranges, and then from there, maybe try to get more reds, get some red and reds to get blacks and pinks, and it's a whole thing.
Dude, there's so many flowers, it hurts.
There's
me.
a lot of flowers. There's a lot of flowers.
Oh my god, how am I gonna do this? Oh my god.
See, EJ, you're so singular minded that you don't even consider the things that you see, and you see other people doing that because they planned ahead. They've been planning for this shit since New Leaf, and you just thought you would just stumble into this. You stupid idiot.
I never gave you shit about flowers, and I said that in this game, but then I saw a cool thing with the flowers, and I said, oh, I could do something cool with the flowers.
Yeah, I bet you've never even gotten an orchid mantis. Bet you don't even see a dang old peacock butterfly.
My man, I don't think there is anything seasonal that is not in my museum right now. That's the first thing I did, is I went full retard on catching everything I could possibly get, times a day.
I'm just saying, they spawn on flowers, and you don't have flowers, then like...
I did. I used to have flowers, and I raised everything when I got terraforming. I had lots of flowers, and I hated them all.
Sad man. I didn't even know you had native roses. You sicko.
Listen, next time you're going to come to my town, it's going to look very different, okay? It'll be very
I believe
pretty.
it.
It'll be very pretty.
I bet you'll get sick of it within 2 weeks, and then change it all. Because you're a sad man.
It's so much work. It's just so much work. And
the game is work. You work, and then once you like it, you stop playing.
Dude, I put so much work into my homestead, and it's like you don't really have a way to plan this stuff out. Like you can kind of plan it in your head, but like, so I had everything almost just the way I wanted it, and then my bridge didn't fit because
was the water not wide enough? It has to be like 3 tiles wide or something.
So the water was wide enough, but because of where the waterfalls were at, there was just a little millimeter where the width changes. Literally just, it doesn't even look different, but it's technically different. So now you can't put a river over it because of the way it changes on the end. And I'm like, so I had to go move my whole waterfall back, and that took fucking forever. And it was just like, what a silly thing. What a really silly thing that the game can't reconcile. So it's just kind of trial and error, and because you're literally doing one fucking square at a time with some ridiculous animation, it takes hours. And it's fun. I've had fun. I made a cool little museum, some waterfalls and a little plaza area I'm going to deck out. But I've had my home now in like 4 different places, and I have not yet been satisfied with one location. And I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to move it back to the beach and not have a yard. Like, I don't even care.
Are you actually going to build it like on the beach, or are you going to put it on the shore before the beach?
Good question. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. First, I want to see how, once I get some trees up on my current little plateau, I'll see what happens. But I don't know. Just nothing has felt right.
I got you.
Which is frustrating when you spend 10 hours trying to make something feel right. And then you're like, nah, it doesn't work.
Like you said, trial and error.
Yeah. Well, what else have you been playing over the last, 3 months, I guess? Almost 3 months.
Yeah, it's tough because a lot of it, like, I've only been playing Animal Crossing for the past 2 weeks. 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks.
Like time before that doesn't even exist in my mind anymore.
Yeah, it was like, obviously playing a lot of Mario Maker, streaming Mario Maker and stuff. And then PC games, played some, I bought Monster Hunter again and was playing through that on PC. And God, that game is so fucking good. I need to go back to that sometime. But I just wanted to have something that was a little bit more taxing to try out the new rig. I got my new monitors, rocking the dual 1440p.
Nice.
So playing stuff at 60 FPS with the 1440p resolution. Feels good, man. I think I could probably run Monster Hunter at 4K on my TV too if I wanted to. But it's good shit.
What's that? What graphics card do you have?
The 2070 Super.
Okay, dude, that's a beefy card.
Gets the job done. It's got a lot of bang for the buck too. I appreciate that.
You at one point streamed a game that I've been playing which was Celeste, which we'd heard a lot about a year or two ago, and neither of us fucking picked it up. I think I fell in love with it. I think it was fucking awesome. It's just like really good platforming. You know, in that first world, when I started playing it, I was like, okay, this is a platformer. Like, this feels more like it's going to be a chore to get through. But by the time I got through that second world, I was like fucking hooked. And you streamed it for a little bit, and I don't think you necessarily felt the same way, which saddens me.
Yeah, I just wasn't vibing it. I didn't really like the physics didn't feel very good. I don't like having to hold a button to climb a wall. I don't like climbing walls. I don't like wall stuff.
Sure. Okay.
In general.
Fair enough.
In platformers. The air dash was fine. I didn't like how it felt on a stick though. Like I felt like I was very frequently dashing the wrong direction, and like it felt like the I don't know, I don't like the 8-way dash with like that kind of game. I would rather it be a 4-way dash in that kind of game, if that makes sense. Just because the style, the pixel art, and like how low res it is, and how everything moves very quickly. If it was a floaty platformer like Ori, I just played Ori Will of the Wisps. Also, I could talk about that. I forgot I even played that. That's got like a lot of aerial mobility, and it's like it's not locked at all, but it's like that's the style of the game. It's a very painted game. It's very floaty. It's very loose. It's very forgiving. A lot of aerial mobility, but like Celeste, you don't really move very quickly in the air. So like having that air dash is like the only way you can move in the air. And I don't know, it wasn't clicking with me. I didn't like how exploratory it was. It felt like no matter what I did, I'd be missing something unless I was looking at a map. And that's like kind of frustrating for that kind of game. Like I would want it's screen by screen. So I would want it to be like linear, but it wasn't linear. So that was like annoying me to like as I was playing it. And I didn't like it enough to be like, I want to replay this section to get more things, because like I don't like playing it.
No, yeah, that's a bummer. I think the platforming it's exceptional. It feels like the way it can feel as loose as it does, but give you the precision it does, where you can stop like on a pixel. There's so much fine control there, but you don't feel like you're playing this like fucking brick of a character. Wall climbing, I get. If you're not into it, you're not into it. And the exploration would normally bug the shit out of me. But I quickly realized that collecting stuff doesn't matter unless you just want to collect it to say you collected it. So I quickly was like, all right, my goal is to just beat this level. That's it. And obviously there's still some dead ends, but it's never like you go through 4 screens and reach a dead end. It's like you go into a room and you say, oh, I don't need to collect that. Go back. Where do I need, So it never felt like, like playing a Metroidvania and you'll go down these fucking just labyrinths and you're just like, fuck this. Which in a Metroidvania, that's the point of the game. I don't generally like the exploration like that. Like I want to know that where I'm going has a logical end and it's beneficial to me, and then I can compartmentalize, complete each section. Once I was like, nothing else matters but reaching the end of the level, it kind of changed how I viewed the game. Unfortunately, I didn't beat it. I got really close, but then Animal Crossing came out and I haven't booted it up once. But I blew through like the first like 6 or 7 worlds, and it was like really challenging, but not in a way that like Meat Boy, which is similar to, with the wall stuff. I mean, it's a very different feeling platformer, but in Celeste, you fucking die a lot. You die a lot as you figure out how to navigate the world, and you unlock so many more powers, and there are so many more different like interactions with the environment that you unlock as you go. And each world obviously is introducing a new mechanic and a different way to interact with the environment. Meat Boy is like punishing. Like it's not fun after a while. And it just solely becomes like, I have to get all the band-aids and I have to get to this level so I can beat it and just be done with it. This game is like, it'll kill you and you say, fuck, okay, why did it kill me? I know what I need to do here.
I liked Meat Boy a lot more. I like Meat Boy because it's faster horizontally and slower vertically.
Yeah.
I think.
Meat Boy does a lot really freaking well. Like, it's a phenomenal game.
And I like that each level is just a level, and like there's secrets in the level, so you can like get the secret in the level and be like, okay, I'm done with that level. Whereas like you even comparing it to, or even like bringing up Metroidvanias, and I like Metroidvanias because they're not hard to play, but it's just fun to explore.
Oh. Ooh. I don't like
I've never played a Metroidvania that was a platformer, like a platformer-ass platformer. It's always like you platform to get around, but that's like the extent of it. It's not like a challenge really. Like you unlock new abilities to like access a new place, but it's not like difficult to get there.
The closest I've played to like a platformer Metroidvania is like Guacamelee. There's a lot of emphasis on platforming in that
Or
game.
maybe like the first Ori.
I didn't play enough of that.
But even then, like I played Ori 2 and that wasn't like hard platforming. It was just kind of like the hardest parts were like the weird chase scenes where it just wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. And then like I would just do it 10 times and then eventually it worked. But I
Bro,
wouldn't say it's the same as like a precision platformer like Meat Boy or Celeste.
seeing you try to beat that boss in Ori, dude, I don't know how long I watched you doing that. Like, and you get so close, and then it would just like cheap shot you, like what in like 1 or 2 hits.
Yeah, I wasn't very upgraded. I could have upgraded myself more, and I had the option like you can back out of a section just by pausing and like start it over at a later time. But I probably could have had like more power-ups and stuff. Like I found out at the very end, like when I was clearing out the map, that I had missed an ability that heals yourself, like at the very beginning of the game.
Oh,
So that would have been kind of nice.
that's why I fucking hate Metroidvanias, man.
That's just funny. It's just a thing that's like totally missable, and like I played through that game fine without it, beat the final boss without it, whatever.
It's funny because I'm like, I really don't like Metroidvanias because I always feel like I'm missing something, and I don't like. I really don't like the exploration in a game like the new Star Wars game that I beat. I just feel like, at least in that one, it was more linear and it never really got you off the beaten path. And if it did, it was short. But it's too much for my ADHD brain, man, and my obsessive compulsive nature. And I just want to know where I need to go. Versus a game like Skyrim or The Witcher or these other open world games where it's like there's so much to explore and there's so much waiting for you around every corner. But you can set a quest marker and keep track of what you're doing when you're doing it. And if you get sidetracked, it's not like, oh God, I have to backtrack my way back through this. And did I go this way? And did I remember to go up here? I don't know. Metroidvanias really stress me out. Like I think the last one I played was probably Guacamelee. There might be another one, but that was 5 years ago.
I tried to get you to play Hollow Knight, but you bounced off that pretty quick.
Really quick. It was hard. And I played it for like 2 hours and like didn't have a checkpoint. I was just like, this is not for me. Right
Dead
now.
Cells has like the smallest sort of pastiche of a Metroidvania sort of painted on it.
Right. Yeah, we definitely talked about that. It did. It is.
Barely.
It is for all intents and purposes. It is. You're obviously it changes every time, but
Yeah, and I would say that goes against the whole sort of, I don't know, design philosophy of most video games, except for like roguelikes where it is like the randomly generated stuff. But a lot of times when you're exploring something, it's because someone made it to be explored instead of here's like a bunch of squares that we can copy paste together to make it look like someone made it, you know? But it is still like exploratory and like a little bit, but like, I don't know, Rogue Legacy isn't exploratory. Like you're finding stuff, but it's because it's like you're flipping a coin and seeing if this treasure chest has something you want in it or not.
right.
Not because there's actually like an ability back there that's like progressing the game. It's just like you fight a boss, and if you beat the boss, then like you might unlock a new thing.
Sure. I like roguelike games. I think I do, man. I liked Binding of Isaac, I like Rogue Legacy, and I love Dead Cells. And there's only 3 I've played, but something about something like Dead Cells where I don't feel obligated to reach every nook and cranny. Sometimes you want to because there are going to be items or weapons or cells which help you progress overall in the game.
Did you ever check out Spelunky back when that was the hotness?
No, sir.
People speak very highly of that game, like an all-time great, especially in the roguelite genre. Very, I would imagine most roguelite games are basically modeled off of that one at this point.
I saw that. Oh God, what's the game? Why SteamWorld was on sale. The Nintendo Spring Sale is happening.
That's a good game. That's a good ass Metroidvania. The second one.
Yeah.
God, it's so good. I love that game. That's a great game. That's an amazing game.
You know what I did do was I picked up Hyper Light Drifter for like the 3rd time. I'm like, I wonder if
game too.
I'll play more than 10 minutes of this game. Finally.
You won't.
Yeah.
You fucking won't.
No. But my
That's
Switch,
not a DJ game. That's fine.
My Switch is filling with titles though. Every time something goes on sale for $8, like you can't not pick it up, You have to get it.
You don't have to. I somehow find a way not to.
I'm like, I'll play this one day.
I did that with Steam in like 2016, and then like I learned from my mistakes.
Dude,
like I don't want to look at my wallet history. I don't want to know how much money I've given Valve
bro,
for the games I don't play.
So many games.
I think I'm in the triple digits for games.
So that's crazy. I only have.
I think I could be wrong. I'm close to that at least.
I've only got 85 games.
Only.
Could be a lot worse. I really like the new Steam update. I really like how they've done. I haven't used Steam in like literally 2 years.
Yeah, they did that a few months ago. I've liked the visual upgrades and like how they partition things out and like say, hey, you haven't played this in a while, or maybe you should check this out.
Right.
Seems like a nice quality of life.
Yeah, it's really cool stuff. It's weird being in here being like, oh, I played 2K 13, 14, and 15 on Steam, and I'm like, fuck, I forgot about that. I downloaded Destiny to fuck around with that. A couple of buddies wanted to play it, so I figured, fuck it, we'll give it a shot. I was on a Witcher kick, man. I wish I had beaten Witcher, but shit happened in January, and I just never came back to it. And now Tom Nook's got me busy.
Just skip to the DLC if you wanted to do the 2 DLCs.
I never beat the main story. I'm on my 3rd run of the main story.
I don't think you need to. I think they're just sort of like really big quests, you know?
Yeah.
And you just like start a new character and they just level you up to the right level and you just go.
I don't know, man. I could do that, but I'm too much of a perfectionist to want to do that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. But just if you get the urge to play some Witcher, but you don't feel like rolling a new character, you just want to jump into something for a little bit of a short 30-hour jaunt.
Short,
as opposed to the main like 90-hour journey.
Well, I tried to hop back in once a couple of weeks ago, and I was not vibing it, which sucks because I was like so addicted to it for a while there. So I just need to like maybe get in the right headspace and be like, all right, today I'm going to play The Witcher for 4 hours and just do it.
Or, you know what you could do instead of playing The Witcher for 4 hours? You could play some Zombieland Double Tap.
I think we got rid of that. I think so. On the last podcast, if you guys remember, I bitched about.
How'd you get rid of it? Trash can?
No, Sarah took a bundle of DVDs to CD Game Exchange, and in that bundle was Zombieland.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah, fucking ridiculous.
Ridiculous. I'll give you $2.
Well, is there anything on this Nintendo Spring Sale that I need to be keeping my eyes out for? You know, any recommendations? If they go up, I must buy it.
For you?
For me or for the boys listening?
I haven't really kept. I'd have to like look at a list of all the stuff that's on sale to be like, yeah, this is a keeper, this is a winner, that kind of stuff. But if you said SteamWorld Dig's on sale, then yeah, definitely get SteamWorld Dig 2. That's a great ass game. I think I saw Gato Roboto's on sale for like $4. That's a $4 game. Like that's a great price for that game. That's like that took me like 5 hours maybe to like totally 100% it.
And
really
what is
delightful
it?
Little Metroidvania. You play as a cat. It's like a little 1-bit, just purely black and white pixels. You can change the palette, you unlock different stuff. It's really cool.
Interesting.
It feels really good to play, and it's just a short little exploration, cute story, whatever,
Yeah.
Just a short game, just a nice little bite-sized bit of joy,
Man, we tried to boot up Castle Crashers the other night on Switch and play online.
Yeah.
Dude, I forget how great that game is, how simple it is, but how great it is. Just upgrading your character and unlocking new characters, but just hacking and slashing your way through. And the music is fucking great.
Yeah, I was going to say, underrated soundtrack.
Oh my
God. Really great soundtrack. Can we just all agree that one of the best songs is that boat with the ninjas attacking you?
Dude,
with the pirates?
So good. So good.
It's a bop, dude.
Yeah. The graphics, like it's a way more beautiful game than I remember ever giving it credit for.
Yeah, they scaled it up, but I mean, they did all those art assets in Flash, so it's all vector graphics, so it scales up real quick.
But just like the design, like it's goofy and fun, and it looks nice. Yeah, but the online play sucked. It was fucking terrible. It was horrendous, and it's apparently not a Nintendo issue. Apparently, across all platforms, it's a problem.
I mean, that game came out in 2012, like. They weren't ready for the internet to be anywhere near as good as it is now.
No, but for them to have released this across multiple platforms, including obviously next gen consoles, quote unquote, it's
just
abysmal.
only so much you can do to like staple good netcode onto a game that's not built for it. You can't just make it work. And it's sunk costs. Like you can't. Like, what's the point of making it work well if it doesn't matter to the end result? Like, how many more sales are you getting? Like, oh, we fixed Castle Crashers, now it runs great online. Like, how many more copies are you selling? 2?
I mean, fair. I don't know enough of how that all works.
They're making new games. They're working on new shit, you know?
Yeah.
They got a Alien Hominid HD or whatever sequel that they're making.
Hey, you know, we played Battle Block Theater together for a good couple hours.
Yeah, that's a nice game.
That was a fun game.
We should finish that game sometime.
Hey,
That's a puzzle, a platformer.
I got nothing but time. But
time.
No,
you don't. You ain't got no time between building your town out and making noodles and going on your long walks.
I got plenty of time, man. Yeah, we could play anything, anytime. You name it, a time and a place. But you're too busy being essential and still living a productive life, you know?
Call it what you will, but don't call it productive.
Yeah. Well, speaking of food, Sarah's got some pasta in there, so I'm going to definitely go eat some of that pasta. So we're going to wrap this fucker up. Yeah, Console Crusade. Social media doesn't matter. We don't post there. And apparently we're podcasting every 3 months now. So we'll see you guys this summer. Hopefully the virus hasn't, wiped us or our villagers out.
I'm doing my part when I'm streaming. I've got the little bot that throws out little promotional things telling them to follow me on Twitter and that kind of stuff. But one of the things it does promote is the old consolecrusade.com.
I know.
And telling people to check out the podcast if they, for some reason, get a kick out of my dumb opinions. But
you should stream more.
I also haven't streamed in over 2 weeks. So
no, you should just stream Animal Crossing. You just stream it. Here's the thing. You don't need to stream it with the idea that, I'm going to rake in a bunch of followers, but you just stream it to stream it. And
what's the point of streaming if I'm not looking at it from the point of creating a product? Like if I'm not making a thing for people to look at, why am I making the thing?
In my eyes, it's like I wish all my friends streamed so that I could just go from stream to stream and be like, I'm just gonna peek into what you're doing. Like last night we were playing and I came and visited your town and then you came to my town and then I'm like, I just want to chill and watch what Nick's doing on a TV while I play my game.
That's fair. I don't know. I don't want to be a serious, streamer. I don't have any delusions of grandeur in that respect, but I want to, make sure it looks and sounds decent.
Oh, sure. And it does, And
there's nothing worse than tuning into someone's stream and it's just some aimless bullshit. I don't know. I'm not super into that.
Fair. Well, I think the best part about your streams, and I said it before, is not watching you be good at Mario. If you sucked at Mario, that also wouldn't matter. As long as you're just chatting it up and talking about I like hearing why you thought the level design of this level was good and why, etc. I want to hear your plans for your fucking island. I want to know, all right, I'm going to do this here. I'm going to do this here. And now I got to go do it. And just you're talking some shit.
If I were to do that, I would have to, for my own sake, not for your sake, not for any, pretend viewers' sake, I'd have to set up a whole thing where I'm A being what my design is and what I'm working towards and it'd be a big production. Yeah. I don't want to fucking do that. That's so much work.
That's sick.
Oh my God. Tabbing through windows, showing you
it.
Switching between gameplay and the whole oh my God.
Just have a screen up with your blueprint.
Bro, I would do that.
That's cool.
I would do that.
That's cool. I want to see how your town progresses and then you having a video record of your whole experience.
If you want to make an OBS scene where that is a thing, and then by all means you can do that for me and I'll do that for you. But it's a lot of production.
What does that entail?
You don't even know how audio works in OBS.
No, it's a whole thing. I don't fuck with OBS. I don't stream often enough.
Oh, man, it's a whole thing.
Listen, I don't want to put
it's cool as fuck
the pressure on you to be I need you to entertain me. But it's
but you're gonna do that anyway.
Well, this is why I'm even if you should just make a Smurf account and stream it, and we'll just fucking hang out. And I just want to be able to see can you just screen share with me? You know what I mean? We'll hang out, we'll play video games, we'll screen share,
Make a Smurf account in what? Animal Crossing? You want to buy me a Switch so I can do that?
No.
Because I'm literally locked to one account.
A Twitch account. So you don't have to be streaming for anybody. Let's just hang out. We'll Discord. I'll see what you're doing. Then there's no pressure. We're just chilling. You just put a camera on your TV.
I think you can do a private stream on Twitch where it's unlisted and I think you could do something like that. I'm not sure though.
You could also just screen cap your Elgato with me and we could hang out.
I'll make a chatterbait and you can pay me big bucks to watch me stream Animal Crossing.
little Cam Soda action. Yeah, let me see your feet. Well, not your feet, Tom Nook's feet.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on chat roulette And if you get lucky, you might see me designing Animal Crossing stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna hit up Omegle, okay?
Omegle.
The unmoderated section.
What was that super old streaming site? Back when like
Stickam.
bands were putting Stickam. Yeah, I'll start a Stickam account.
Dude, bands and shit would use Stickam.
Dude,
all
we're
the
in the
time.
studio. We're doing. You just still ask us some questions, you know.
That shit was way ahead of its time, man.
Whereas just a bunch of like 20-year-old tryhards and like 16-year-old girls talking to band boys.
Well, yes, that's the scene.
That was damn right.
Oh, yeah. All right, Console Crusade podcast. Hope y'all staying safe, staying healthy. Nick.
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.